Adventure often leads us to the most remote and unexpected places. Sometimes, the greatest discoveries aren't in lost cities of gold, but hidden deep within the earth, in the quiet solitude of a mountain cave. This was exactly the case in Zimapán, a rugged region in the highlands of central Mexico. Tucked away inside a rock shelter, archaeologists found something truly remarkable: the naturally mummified remains of a man. This wasn't just any discovery. The man was carefully wrapped in elaborate mats, woven from maguey fibers and cotton, a sign that he was a person of great importance in his community. This careful burial suggested he held a high status within the Otopangue culture, one of the earliest known peoples to inhabit this part of Mesoamerica. Dating ancient remains is a crucial first step in piecing together the puzzle of the past. Using modern scientific techniques, researchers determined that this individual, now known as the Zimapán man, lived and died somewhere between 900 and 1200 CE. That makes his remains roughly 1,000 years old, a direct link to a world that existed long before the arrival of Europeans in the Americas. Analysis of his physical remains also offered a glimpse into his life, revealing that he was a young adult, probably between 21 and 35 years old when he died. The exact cause of his death remains a mystery, but the incredible preservation of his body would soon unlock secrets far more profound than how his life ended. The dry, stable environment of the cave had worked a kind of natural magic, mummifying the man's body, and, most importantly, preserving his internal organs. This is an incredibly rare occurrence. Usually, soft tissues like the intestines decay very quickly after death, taking all of their microscopic secrets with them. But for the Zimapán man, time seemed to stand still. Scientists were able to carefully take samples from his preserved intestinal tissue and what is known as paleofeces, ancient, preserved fecal matter. This provided them with a biological time capsule, a chance to look not just at the man himself, but at the world that lived inside of him, a world that had been sealed away for a millennium. This brings us to the real heart of the discovery, the microbiome. Think of it as a bustling microscopic city living inside your gut. It's made up of trillions of bacteria, fungi, and other tiny organisms that help you digest food, fight off disease, and even influence your mood. Every person's microbiome is unique, shaped by their diet, environment, and genetics. For scientists, being able to study an ancient microbiome is like finding a lost library. It contains detailed records of what people ate, the environment they lived in, and the state of their health 1,000 years ago. It's an unprecedented opportunity to understand the daily lives of ancient people from the inside out. Once the precious samples were secured, the real scientific expedition began. A team led by researcher Santiago Rosas Plaza at the Autonomous University of Yucatan took on the incredibly delicate task of analyzing them. Their mission was to find and identify the genetic material of the bacteria that once thrived inside the Zimapán man's gut. This is far from simple. Over 1,000 years, DNA degrades and breaks down into tiny, fragmented pieces. It's like trying to reassemble a shredded document that has been left out in the sun and rain for centuries. The team had to use highly specialized techniques to extract these fragile DNA fragments and piece them back together to identify the ancient bacteria. Their painstaking work paid off, in a huge way. The scientists were successful in reconstructing a significant portion of the man's gut microbiome. This was a groundbreaking achievement, as it confirmed that these microscopic organisms could, under the right conditions, survive in a dormant state for over 1,000 years. The results, published in the scientific journal PLOS One, opened a new door for archaeology and microbiology. It proved that mummified remains could hold more than just skeletal information. They could contain living ecosystems frozen in time. This discovery was not just about one man, but about the potential to study the intimate biological details of ancient populations around the world. The team identified several major families of bacteria, many of which are known to play crucial roles in human digestion. These included groups like Clostridiaceae, Lactospiraceae, and Peptostreptococci. These aren't just random names. Each group has a specific job within the gut. For example, a species called Rhombautsia hominis was found, which is known for its ability to break down carbohydrates and help synthesize essential vitamins for its human host. This finding showed that the fundamental partnership between humans and their gut bacteria is an ancient one, a symbiotic relationship that has been essential to our survival for millennia. Another key player they identified was the genus Clostridium. This group of bacteria is fascinating because it's a master of metabolism. It helps the human body process nutrients that we can't digest on our own, turning them into vital compounds called short-chain fatty acids. These compounds are a critical source of energy for the cells lining our intestines and play a huge role in maintaining gut health. Finding Clostridium wasn't a total surprise, as similar bacteria have been found in the guts of other ancient mummies, like those from the Inca Empire. It reinforces the idea that these microbes were a common and essential part of the ancestral human gut across different cultures and continents. The true magic of studying an ancient microbiome is that it acts like a dietary logbook, revealing exactly what a person was eating. The types of bacteria present are directly linked to the foods they were adapted to break down. One of the most telling clues came from the presence of bacteria from the Clostridiaceae family. These microbes are experts at producing enzymes that can digest chitin, the tough, fibrous substance that makes up the exoskeletons of insects. This provides strong scientific evidence that the Zimapán man's diet included insects, a practice that has been well documented among ancient peoples in the Hidalgo region. For them, insects were a readily available and nutrient-rich source of protein. The bacterial evidence also painted a picture of a diet rich in tough, fibrous plants. The team found a high abundance of Lactobacillus bacteria, which are champions at breaking down cellulose, the hard-to-digest material that forms the cell walls of plants. This strongly suggests that the Zimapán man regularly consumed hardy desert plants native to his environment. His meals likely included media group, agave plants in Mexican desert, agave field with mature plants, harvesting agave in traditional setting a stock and distribute equally, agave, the same plant used to make tequila and mezcal today, as well as yucca, mesquite, and the fruit of the prickly pear cactus, known as opuntia. These plants would have provided essential carbohydrates and nutrients needed to survive in the arid highlands of central Mexico. But among the expected findings, there was one major surprise that left the scientists scratching their heads. The most common group of microbes found in the samples belonged to the genus Gallicoccus. This was completely unexpected. These bacteria are what we call extremophiles, meaning they thrive in extreme environments. They have an incredibly high tolerance for salt and are typically found in salty marine habitats or fermented seafood, not the human gut. Its dominance in the sample is puzzling. It might have been something he consumed, or perhaps it was better at surviving the passage of 1,000 years than other bacteria, but its presence remains an intriguing mystery. While many ancient bacteria were identified, researchers also noticed something curious. Some of the most common bacteria found in the modern human gut were conspicuously absent. Groups like Bifidobacterium and members of the Bacteroidetes phylum, which are superstars in our guts today, were nowhere to be found in the samples. Does this mean the Zimapán man didn't have them? Not necessarily. The scientists believe it's more likely that the DNA of these particular bacteria was simply too fragile to survive the long centuries. The process of degradation is not uniform. Some DNA is tougher than others. So, their absence might be a limitation of the study rather than a true reflection of his original microbiome. So, what does it all mean? The study of the Zimapán man's 1,000-year-old gut is more than just an interesting piece of ancient history. It provides a vital baseline, a snapshot of a human microbiome that existed before the massive changes of the modern era. His gut was perfectly adapted to a diet of foraged plants, insects, and other natural foods from his local environment. This is a world away from our modern diets, which are often dominated by processed foods, sugars, and fats. By comparing his microbiome to ours, we can begin to understand how our dietary shifts over the last few centuries have impacted our internal ecosystems. These findings give us a profound appreciation for the resilience and adaptability of our ancient ancestors. The Zimapán man's gut was a finely tuned machine, equipped with the specific microbial tools needed to extract every last nutrient from a challenging diet. The bacteria that helped him digest tough cactus fibers and insect exoskeletons were essential for his survival. This highlights how closely human health has always been tied to the environment and the food sources it provides. It shows us that for millennia, humans lived in a much closer, symbiotic relationship with the world around them, a relationship that extended all the way down to the microscopic level. This research also opens up fascinating questions about health and disease. Many modern health issues, such as autoimmune disorders, allergies, and metabolic diseases like obesity and type 2 diabetes, have been linked to a lack of diversity in our gut microbiome. By studying ancient microbiomes like the Zimapán mans, which were likely far more diverse, scientists can identify key bacteria that we may have lost. This could eventually lead to new approaches in medicine, perhaps using probiotics or dietary changes to reintroduce some of these old friends to our modern guts to improve our health and well-being. Ultimately, the Zimapán man, a silent witness from 1,000 years ago, has given us an incredible gift. He has allowed us to journey back in time and listen to the echoes of an ancient biological world. His preserved remains remind us that every new discovery, whether it's a hidden temple or the DNA in a microscopic organism, adds another crucial piece to the grand puzzle of the human story. The secrets held within his gut are not just about his life, but about our own, where we came from, what we've lost, and what we might need to reclaim to build a healthier future. The expedition continues, not with a map and a compass, but with a microscope.